Well, according to media reports, a new Australian sex education book has topped Amazon's bestseller list. Welcome to Sex, written by Yumi Steins and Dr. Melissa Kang, was released just over 2 months ago, but it's a disturbing book. Let's check it out. So let me just warn you that this episode contains highly offensive content. So please use discretion as to who's watching this with you. If you're like me, you will be offended by what you see, but I hope that you'll be more angry and offended at the fact that this material is being targeted at children. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. So Welcome to Sex is the fourth in a series of guides for adolescents, following Welcome to Your Period, Welcome to Your Boobs, and Welcome to Consent. This particular book covers sexual topics with illustrations of masturbation, gender fluidity, LGBTQI issues, anal sex, scissoring, and more. And the authors say that even children as young as 8 should read it. It has drawings of penises and descriptions of males as penis owners and females as vagina owners. Now, Rachel Wong, a Kiwi and the chief executive of Women's Forum Australia, and who spoke at our forum on the family twice before, called it, quote, a graphic sex guide for children, end quote, and that she felt physically ill at the thought of children reading it. She was further disturbed that Steins, in an earlier Instagram post, said while the book was suitable for ages 10 to 15, well, I'm not sure about that, Steins would be happy with a mature and smart year-old having a flick through. And here is that exact comment. Now, Rachel also took issue with the language around consent used in the book, which highlights the legal age as either 16 or 17 in Australia, and suggests that, quote, if the age difference is small, the law might take this into account, end quote. And Rachel accused the authors of mentioning the legal age just to sort of avoid getting in trouble, because the book is basically a sex manual for kids. And then they sort of say, well, if you're of a certain age and someone's not too much older than you, you could get away with it. She said the fact that a particular comment about the age of consent is couched in this book, which explains all these sorts of sexually explicit activities, is really just, oh, we might cover up that bit, but at the end of the day, we are promoting sexual activity for children, she said. Now, a cyber safety expert has condemned the book and describes it as dangerous and complete misinformation. And according to a media report on kidspot.com.au, it says, one section of the book discusses sending nude pictures and sexting, which the co-author Dr. Kang likens to love letters that were once sent before phones. Ignoring the innocence of those letters, which were generally written by adults, compared to the explicit pictures and videos that can be sent today and shared to the world instantly. The authors write that if they were talking to their own children about sending nudes, they'd advise them to crop their heads off just in case, because once a picture is out there, you have no control over it. However, cyber safety expert with 27 years in law enforcement, Susan McLean, said she was concerned about the peddling of misinformation on such an important topic. These people haven't a clue about the reality of the digital world. They are encouraging behavior which is likely to cause a young person to be arrested and charged, and that is not okay. The head is not the important part. You are still creating child abuse material, which is a very serious offence. A naked image is very attractive to a child sex offender, and they can end up on the computer of a pedophile or traded in a pedophile forum. I've seen pedophiles tell children to just chop their head off, and eventually they get a full nude photo. And child psychiatrist Dr. Gillian Spencer says encouraging children to chop their head off naked images sends an uncomfortable message. It tells them their naked body is the primary focus when attempting to connect and form relationships with other people. The book appears to inundate children with a lot of graphic adult sexual information and pictures. It describes sex acts without any relationship context. Relationship, but not commitment, not mention of faithfulness or morality. Those words are so offensive. Now, look, I we'll just show you some examples because you need to be aware. As I say, this material is offensive, but it's being targeted at children maybe as young as 8 years old. The book provides an entire section on scissoring. Scissoring is when two people intertwine their legs tightly so that their genitals touch, rubbing together. It's not technically intercourse because nothing is going into a vagina or anus, but it can still be just as stimulating. There is specific instruction on anal sex and fingering, and a whole section on oral sex, and this charming page. Don't forget, this is targeted at young teens, maybe even as young as 8. And the most important bit, virginity is an outdated concept. The word virginity should be erased from the dictionary. Well, this quickly tells you the author's warped worldview, doesn't it? Now, one of the co-authors, Yumi Stein, said she was surprised by the backlash. Really? She said, "We really have a lot of credentials. We've got an army of professors who fact-checked and contributed to the book. So for people to try and shame us or make us feel like we haven't done the work, it's just really misguided. It does make me think that they're taking a leaf out of the book of Trumpism." Classic. Bringing in Trumpism. Boom. If you can bring in the word Trump or Nazi, the left say, "Oh, well, that's it then. We've won the debate." Nope. And it's not the facts that are the issue. It's the age appropriateness and the moral innocence of children, which is why we have age restrictions in the first place. Sheesh. Now, described on the inside cover as the only guide you need to navigate consent for tweens and teens of all genders. One of the co-authors is best known. Steins is known for co-hosting ABC's Ladies We Need to Talk podcast. Now, ABC is a bit like Radio New Zealand. It's both government-owned and funded, so that quickly raises the red flag. And the other author, Kang, is a trained GP who apparently is a household name in Australia, writing in Dolly Magazine's Dolly Doctor column. And Kang said, quote, "For those saying the book is sex education, there is a huge difference between giving children age-appropriate information and prematurely exposing them to graphic, highly sexualized material," end quote. Well, judge for yourself. Now, let me just show you a very quick video clip which went viral as someone showed the book to the world. Please remember, it is offensive material. You have been warned, but look, it's aimed at your children.
Welcome to Sex, a book sold at Big W and marketed towards your children. And it says so on the very first page, whether you're an apprehensive 11-year-old. Size matters, talking about penis size. Scissoring, complete with illustrations. The lowdown on anal sex. Fingering. How do you finger someone? Again, complete with illustrations. Hand jobs. Oral sex. Oral sex on a penis. The virginity myth, and as it says there, I think virginity is such an outdated concept, downplaying virginity. Porn. And of course, sexual and gender identity. They couldn't leave that one out. I'm 13 and I'm confused about my sexuality. How can anyone think they're not coming after the children after seeing books like this for sale openly in Big W? Welcome to Sex, sold at Big W and marketed towards your children.
Yeah, it's disturbing, isn't it? Here's the really ironic bit. Rachel Wong posted about this book on LinkedIn in a bid to raise awareness about its subject matter. However, it was taken down for breaching its policies on adult nudity and sexual activities, which was a move that she accepted. But remember, this is a book for children as young as 8. It actually reminds me of the time I was on Breakfast on One and on Radio New Zealand about the book Into the River, which got the New Zealand Post Book of the Year for children, but which contained the F and the C word and explicit sex scenes. And when I was on both of those channels, neither of the broadcasters would let me read extracts from the book, despite it being a so-called children's book. By the way, that book has all but disappeared, thankfully. Now, in relation to this book, Welcome to Sex, online bookstores in New Zealand, Mighty Ape, The Nile and Wheelers are selling it here in New Zealand. Interestingly, Wheelers says it's for 13 plus years. Still too young, but the major retailers, Whitcoulls or Paper Plus, don't have it available yet. But we will monitor that. But parents, beware. There are authors and books and curriculums that want to sexualize your children, want to pollute your child's mind, want to remove your child's moral innocence, in some cases, even want to groom your children. Be alert, be very alert, and stay well clear of this grubby little book.